time on Instagram, I had one reel that really went viral, and it's very interesting to me why it went viral, because in that reel, I was talking about how I, as a mother of 6, have been able to write novels and sell and create weaving that goes all over the United States with very little paid childcare and often with no paid childcare. And people want to know, how did I do it? Welcome back to my channel. This is Sam from thesamanthawild.com, and welcome to my studio. I'm sharing on this channel how to create from your heart. I'm a sustainable art weaver, among many other things. And as you just heard, I'm a mother of 6 kiddos. And this is a place for creative inspiration. While you're here, don't forget, give the thumbs up. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for helping me to get there. Mwah! I love my new subscribers. I love my old subscribers. I'm delighted that you're here. And I think this is something that's a really deeply important, deeply personal, deeply significant topic, is how do we get our creative work done? If we are busy people, which most of us are, if we are overwhelmed by our commitments, which most of us are, how do we prioritize our creative work? You know, I'm really interested in why that reel was so popular. It had 150,000, 200,000, I mean, a lot for me. It was a lot of views for me. In it, I talked about how when I had one kiddo, I wrote my first novel, This Little Mommy Stayed Home. Now I wrote this novel while he napped. So my first kiddo napped an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon. That was it. That's when I wrote this book. I started when he was 9 months old. A couple of years later, I wrote this book, I'll Take What She Has. Now, during the editing process, I probably had about 3 hours a week of paid childcare. But I think, if I remember correctly, that I wrote this book while I didn't have any childcare. And since then, I've gone on, obviously, from 1 child to 6 children, to produce a lot of children and to produce a lot of work in all my different fields and areas, and to produce a lot of weaving in the past several years. What folks wanted to know on that reel really was, how did I do it? And the truth is, if you're a creator, an artist, a creative, a crafter, a maker, for most of us, we do have to figure out how we can prioritize our creative work. And the base of figuring that out is understanding why we need to prioritize our creative work. Why did I, as a new mother who was desperately sleep deprived, that kiddo just did not sleep at 9 months old, how did I end up writing a novel in that state? Right? That's really, you know, I'm making this reel on Instagram with my 6th baby on my back, and I'm talking about that. And I think that's what was interesting to people, and what was significant, because they're figuring out, I have children I'm taking care of, or parents I'm taking care of, or 1 full-time job, or 2 or 3 full-time jobs. I'm overwhelmed, you know, by all of the responsibilities. And my creative, artistic work seems so insignificant. So the baseline here is deciding and understanding that our creative and artistic work is a priority, a singularity. It is so significant that we must make time for it. Right, so when I wrote this book, when I wrote this first book, This Little Mommy Stayed Home, I wrote the book that I wanted to read. I wrote this book out of necessity. I wasn't sitting there like, I don't know, you know, some famous man from the 1920s with a drink and a cigarette going out to cafes. That was not my reality at all. My mantra was go, 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 go. You know, I spent many months after that reel went viral thinking about how I could answer this question for people of how I did it. And I answered it in many different ways. I talked about, you know, the tools that I used, the thoughts that I was thinking in order to get myself to actually finish and complete an entire novel. I mean, in terms of novel writing, you have to have hope. You have to have hope that you can finish it. Same thing when you're completing a tapestry. I teach my creative art weaving class, and I say to people, the number one thing is to finish it, even if you hate it, even if you think it looks terrible, because what happens to a lot of us is we get through, you know, halfway, 3/4 or 2/3 of the way through the project, and then we stall. And I really feel like everything we're creating is a metaphor for us in our lives. Keep going, keep going, keep moving. You do not want to get stuck. I'll tell you one thing, even if you have the support of every other person in your life, which you probably don't, to go off and do your creative work, the most important person who feels that it is significant that you do this work is you. I did not have a supportive spouse when I was writing those novels. I was full-time caring for the children. I didn't have a spouse who said, oh, don't worry about it. I'll do this, I'll do that, or don't do the household stuff, or this is really important. That was not my experience. I had to believe in myself, and I had to believe that it was significant that I write the book, even if it didn't get published. In my case, it did get published, but I'll tell you, I went on to write oh, let's see, 2 or 3 more novels that still haven't been published, but I did write them. I did do that creative work because the activity of us doing our artistry, our creating, our crafting, and our making is itself the essential component. It is fantastic, and I love to sell my pieces. In fact, go see the weaving shop at thesamanthawild.com. It is full of color and joy, and I love when my pieces find a home with the people they belong with. I mean, I genuinely feel as if I'm weaving for people, and often for people I don't know at all. But the process itself is where we need to land. We don't live in a process-oriented culture. We live in a product-oriented culture. So when we're working with these concepts of prioritizing our own artistic work, we are swimming upstream in our culture. We are moving against the cultural tide, which goes product, 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 product. But this is process, 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 process. You doing that work is important. It's important for you. And in as much as it's important for you, it's important for others, and it's important for the world in ways we may or may not know. The foundation piece for you finding time when there's no time at all is to believe in the significance of your creativity. There's a song you may or may not know that goes, making love out of nothing at all. Is it Air Supply? Making love out of nothing at all. Anyway, I love that song. I think that's from the 80s. And I love the idea of making art out of, quote, nothing at all, because I've talked here about being a sustainable art weaver and using, whatever you have, as you see with the tapestries behind me, using recycled fiber, upcycled materials. But we may feel we have no time at all, and yet we can make art and be creative in our no time at all. Everybody, even people who have no time at all, have a little tiny bit of time. Is it more important to do the dishes, or is it more important to do your tapestry? I mean, even myself this morning had a little bit of time to work, and I thought, gosh, I really, really have to get out in the garden. It has been so hot and miserable and buggy and rainy. It's been very hard to get in the garden. I was like, oh my gosh, those tomatoes still haven't been staked. But you know what? I came in here and I put the warp on the loom, because my compass, my set point is to do my creative work. When I do that, things flow from there. So it's a discipline, honestly, and a practice. I'm also a yoga teacher, as many as you know. So a lot of practice. The practice is that it doesn't work unless you do it. Well, I think it's clear that I could go on and on about this topic, but this is about as long as I like to make a video. So I'm going to stop for now. Let me know in the comments. Leave a comment if you want to know more about this, really about how we're using our time and prioritizing it. I think this is a very important thing for so many of us. Thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Help me get to the 1,000. And thank you so much for being here and being with me. Check out thesamanthawild.com. You can check out my weaving shop there and find out more about my work. And until then, have a beautiful, creativity prioritized day.